Good evening to all of those of you at home, and welcome back to our next Fridays After 5 presented by Chase. On a bright sunny day with bare faces and all, we're delighted to welcome Chase Bank back for a message to you. And with that in mind, Marquita Hurd, would you like to address our audience?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Marquita Hurd, JP Morgan Chase government banker and head of Richmond's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Leadership Group. The VMFA is such a special place in the Richmond community, and I'm pleased to be here tonight to announce Chase's partnership with several programs, including Teens Out Loud, the Boys and Girls Club, Distance Learning Tools, and tonight's Friday After 5 event. Through Chase's support, we're able to further VMFA's mission by bringing this type of education and experience to all families. For me personally, I spend time in the museum with my girlfriends, and I must tell you, a museum get-together is pretty impactful. JP Morgan Chase is more than just new branches and jobs. It's about our communities. When our communities are doing well, we're all doing well. And giving back to the community is a personal passion of mine, and I take pride in working for a company that has the same mission. So again, thank you for joining us this evening. We want to thank again the artists and VMFA for allowing us the opportunity to participate in such a special celebration. Enjoy.
Good evening and welcome to all of those at home to our next installment of Fridays After 5 presented by Chase Dance After Work. I am sure there's somebody on the other end of this camera who recognizes this man right here, Mr. Kemel Patton. Thank you so much for being on the program, Kamel.
Oh, no, thanks for having me, Robert. Appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You know, you and I have danced together a couple of times here at the museum with your line dancing workshops, but we haven't had too much time to sit down and just chat, and I'm looking forward to getting to learn more about you.
Right. This would be really our first time after the last few years of just sitting down, just having a little powwow, versus just the dance going straight to dancing. What do you need, Kamel? Okay, whatever you need, I got you. Okay, what? Okay, and it's always be a thing.
Can't be the last time. We'll have to do it again and sit down in person and have a meal together. Before we get into our conversation about you and dance and your walk towards where you are today, would you take a moment just to tell the folks at home something about yourself in your own words?
Well, one thing I'll say about myself, I'm very passionate. I'm a go-getter. I'm a no-quitter. Don't listen to no too much. I was in sales and management I'm 60, so probably 40 years of my life. All my occupations and vocations have always been sales and management. So for the most part, no was mean, okay, that just opens up the door for another option, another alternative to fulfill whatever your needs are and mine also at the same time. So I'm very passionate about what I do and just about everything that I do. And I'm passionate about life in general. So therefore, that's where dancing has always come into play, because it allows me to use all my senses. It allows me to just explore my passion as a whole, so that's what I've always enjoyed. So
I like that philosophy. Passion and no just means an opportunity for another avenue. I like that.
Yes, always.
So you're in sales and management. Tell me about, how do you get into the world of dance? Where'd that start for you?
Well, it's funny. I worked for Brown Distributing probably in 81 to 91. As a supervisor, route salesperson. I actually supervised route salespeople. But I also was that at that time the sole black person that you came to if you needed money from Budweiser, so you had to come through me. So at that time, I did promotions and concerts with Budweiser Superfest. I was involved in those kind of things around the country. Especially in Norfolk, the Hampton Roads area, because there was like one of me in every little area. Wherever distributor, was always another one of me, so to speak. So we always had a camaraderie. Look, man, I've got something going on down here. You want to come down here, or they'll come up here, or whatever. And that's really spread Hampton Roads area and all that. So that's what got me into promotions and concerts, and of course anything that had to do with the black community as a whole. Really, from the governor's mansion all the way down. Doug Wilder, all those people those are camaraderie people that I've dealt with all these years. So I had the opportunity to, I guess at a young age, I guess to really explore and find out things about what's going on in the city, behind the scenes and all that. Because it's funny, I was talking to someone the other day, is that back in the 80s, no one had camera phones. So I remember when Governor Wilder, when he became governor, I was at the inauguration and all that. And of course, I was sitting in the Omni after the event, Omni Hotel, and there's Muhammad Ali walks in.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, but again, there's nobody said, can you take a picture? There was no pictures taken. I mean, but Muhammad Ali, he actually, and it's sad because I can't find the autograph. He autographed the program of Doug Wilder's inauguration. I don't know what I've done with, but I actually autographed that. But it's crazy that at that time, I had the opportunity to meet those kind of people. Had dinner with Barry White. I mean, all those kind of things. Those are the things that I actually, at 21, 22 years, I was exposed to at that time because I was that sole person
Right.
who worked for Budweiser.
Right.
I remember Larry Brown, who owned Brown Strip, and of course, he's passed it on to his son now. And of course, they've been around for over 100 years. I remember when Doug became governor, and he knew Mary Sue Terry very well. He said, and at the time, I guess everyone had a couple tickets they could give to their different constituents or whatever. So Larry came to me and said, Kamel, I need a couple more tickets. I said, oh, okay. He said, can you make a phone call? I made a phone call. Judy Anderson is a good friend of mine. Her son, of course, her husband has a dental outfit here. Of course, her son I think is the dentist now, but her husband started it a long time ago. And she was chief of staff. And I said, Judy, I need a cup too. Okay, come on, how many you need? Okay, I remember I just went, he looked at me and said, really? I said, well, you asked me, you want to get some tickets here for the inauguration. He'd go. But those are the things that I had access to at a very young age and never really thought about it. It's just what I did.
Right.
So like I said, from Governor's Mountain to City Hall, everybody knew who I was. And it wasn't about dancing then. It was just about what I did in the community as a whole. We started Branch of the Arts, Plunky. At that time, we started Branch of the Art. I got the seed money came from Budweiser, came through me, Branch of the Art. So when we had concerts in the Black Shimarosa Park, Carlton Blunt, we did concerts back then. So nobody, of course, they do concerts now, but we did them back in the 80s.
I didn't know you'd worked with Plunky.
Plunky is a lifelong friend. Lifelong friend. I come and go to his house. I was over his house. It's probably been pre-COVID when he was doing he used to do the Sunday sets right out in front of his house. Playing the saxophone, the band and all that. Yeah, Plunky, long-time friend. Plunky, Muzi, of course, his brother works down at VCU and does the art and stuff down there. So yeah, good friends of mine.
Plunky is my neighbor now. I'm 2 blocks away from his door.
Are you
Next time, I'm serious, man. Next time,
to come through there. Oh my God, yes. Oh my God.
You better knock on my door.
Get out of here. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, Plunky is a good friend of mine. In fact, I done choreography for Plunky when he did the Drop video, which used to play on Michael Baston's show when it came on TV. But that was about 7, 8 years ago, probably been about 10, 12 years ago now. I did the choreography for that. So and of course for one of his latest videos a couple of years ago. But so yeah, Plunky is a lifelong friend. Plunky's a cookie, all of the whole family. Yeah.
I didn't know that I knew about the line dancing because we've done that together, but I didn't know that you've done work as a choreographer as well.
Oh yes, choreography. I mean, I used to go to North Virginia, and that was funny. That's why I say my roots really extend beyond Richmond. Although people know me for line dance, but really my roots extended, especially back in the early days when I started line dancing. People used to call me, look, I've got a band and I got a song. Can you do choreography? I used to travel to Northern Virginia for a couple of bands and stuff up there and just make up a dance for them on songs or whatever. And I still do that today. Someone just came to me, in fact, about a week ago. Just came to me, look, I've got a song, a group. I'm gonna have to call you because I need you to do make up a line dance. I said, so I actually done that. Of course, a lot of them I haven't had the opportunity to work with. But again, I do choreography, and there are line dances that exist today that I created that are my dances that the line dance community do as a whole. And really, my tentacles spread just beyond Richmond because people that came up under me under line dancing went to Baltimore, went to DC, went to Northern Virginia, whatever. So again, because of me starting it 20-some years ago, it spread the whole community. There are probably more line dance teachers in this community than in most cities in our city here today because of me.
Talk to me a little bit about the evolution of line dancing. What was it 20 years ago and how's it different today? Well,
it's funny, again, because I've always danced. I mean, like I said, in the 80s, there was a few, at that time, you know how some people went to play golf and do those kind of things when they talk business. Well, for me, because when my Budweiser days, because I was that Black person, my outlet was dancing. But again, it was business for me because a lot of the clubs that existed, especially back in the 80s, there were a lot more clubs back in the 80s. And of course, my idea was if I'm visible, I can get a Bud Light night here. I can get you to carry a Michelob tap. So all the owner stuff knew who I was. But of course, I danced. But the dancing was a sideline. I was just happened to be having fun. But at the end of the night, okay, look, my man's gonna be here tomorrow to drop off a case of beer, or I need that tap. Okay, they know they're gonna see me at night. So it's funny. I sold beer by the day because I was super, but at night I was out beating the bushes in clubs or whatever. But for me, it was promotions because they knew if they had a Bud Light, they knew I'm gonna be there. So a lot of people do things just because the Kamel's coming tonight, whatever. And dancing was a sideline. So for me, it was always an outlet for me.
Felt like it was a good tool to keep those connections strong for you.
Oh yes, always. I mean, so it was fun and have a good time, and it was routine for me. It really was routine. A new club open. Okay, come on. I know I got to be there to talk to the owner. I'm gonna be here tomorrow. What you got going on tomorrow? Okay, I got you. I'll be here. Whatever. So it was business and pleasure all at the same time.
Well, Kamel, no one's born, knowing what line dancing is. We'll stick to that since that's what we're talking about. So how did you become introduced to this art form, and what made you fall in love with it so
well
heavily?
It's funny. I think of course when I look back, you had the electric slide, of course, back then in the early 80s. Step in the Name of Love, that came out a few years after that, and of course I created a dance to that. And of course Dee Dee Renee, who's not even, I think Dee Dee used to work for Power Radio One and all that. She's moved on, and she's still a radio personality. I never forget it. Used to do dance down at After Six downtown. Orlando had a club down there, so we used to do like a Thursday night powwow down there. Adults, and Philly Phil, who used to be Radio One, used to announce on the radio, "Come on and Kamel will teach you some new dances or whatever." So that was another outlet to, I guess, expand line dance. And a lot of the dance that we did, we didn't consider them line dances. There was a couple dances that we do today that have been around for 20 years. Take It Off, which is by Sir R.J., who's with Power 92 now. That's his dance song he created years ago. And we still do that dance, and then a lot of dance has sprung from that dance, the roots of line dancing. So for me, it started off as just an outlet, and I never forget it. What really opened up the whole city for line dance, a friend of mine who I did business with, they had a assisted living facility. So of course, a lot of their clients were either handicapped, not efficient, but again, they still love music, even if they can only nod their head. So they invited me to come and do line dancing for them like once a week. So I would come and do line dancing for them because their people still needed to get up, even if they're on a walk or whatever, they still needed exercise. So to make a long story short, the owner of that business, she was at American Family. So her trainer said, "Look, I want to start a line dance class. I wonder how can I do that?" And she said, "I know the perfect person." This was, 15, 18, 20 years ago. She said, "Kamel, I never figured we started a line dance class at American Family on Mechanicsville Turnpike." We started it, I guess it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. It had 7 people the first class. It was a daytime class. At that time, we're talking about 20 years ago, I was the only one that had a live DJ.
Right.
I had a live DJ in a gym class.
Wow.
And so we're talking about him, and it's funny. I look again. It definitely wasn't about the money, because I look back. Look where Sean T is today. All he does is just dancing and exercise. Well, I was doing that way before Sean T. So my thing is, I was using the line dancing as an exercise class, and then of course that opened up the door for Zumba and all those kind of things. But I was line dancing, and then of course American Family, said, "Okay, we'll have a class." I never forget, that was one class. So, make a long story short, from there, probably a few months after that, I was probably the only instructor that had 4 classes a week with American Family. Probably about 350 women a week. You had to used to get tickets to come to my class at American Family.
Wow.
If you didn't get a ticket, you had to wait till the next time to get a class.
Became that popular.
That's how big it was.
Woo.
That's how big, line dancing. So I traveled from Mechanicsville twice a week, had Brook Road, and of course had Short Pump, and then would do Southside. They said, "Well, we want a class." I had to go to Midlothian at least once a month to give them some love, and that opened up the whole city. One part I opened up the whole city because there was so many classes, and then at that time I was probably doing every religious facility, churches, every club. Kamel, what you doing on Friday? And of course, at that time I had a live DJ who was Mr. G, who has his own thing now. He has his own thing. We had Donna, D&G. She came up through my ranks. We have Rhonda, who used to come to Martini Kitchen. I started the Tuesday night line dance classes at Martini Kitchen probably 12 years ago. Martini Kitchen is now closed.
Yeah.
That started a whole other outlet. People were just coming there in droves just to see line dancing. Carlos, who is named the Line Dance Prince, came up at me. They just used to come to my events and say, "Oh, I like this," and then they started doing their own thing. So line dance became just a part of life. And I was at that time, I was probably doing a class and I was a manager at Section Shoes at that time, 18 years, and doing my classes. So I was probably doing a class every night of the week and an event almost every weekend.
Today,
yeah.
What's the audience like today? Who is looking for line dance? You specialize, I don't know if specialize is the right word, but when I dance with you, it's hip hop music that you're using. Where do people find a Kemel Patton class today?
Well, it's funny. I don't do as many classes, like that as I did back then, of course, at the gym. I do one class a week at Victory Related. I've been with Wendy for probably 10 or 12 years. I started with her. I'm still with her on Tuesdays. But my main class is probably at Virginia Center Commons, 1 to 2:30 every Saturday, right there in the food court. And quite contrary to belief, the food court is not closed, although they're doing some stuff around Virginia Center Commons. That's around the backside of the mall. The food court is still open. It's still there. And been out there since October. So it's still there. So I do a class there. But a lot of people that are looking for a line dance are those that want something to do. They want exercise, but they want to have fun doing it. And that's what line dance provides, a way of having some fun, yet still getting some cardio in, still burning some calories. And maybe you don't go out to clubs or whatever. I mean, of course, the club scene is totally different now than it was 10 or 15 years ago. But you still want to have that excitement of hearing the music. So you'll come to my class, I still can hear the same music and have a good time. Then go home and go home, go to sleep, whatever I need to do. And the other side of the coin is that dancing and line dance as a whole is my therapy. For those that a lot of people know, I've never hid it, never tried to hide from it. I have multiple sclerosis for 26 years. It is what it is. I heard every day. I have my issues all the time. More people that see me, they would never think, well, there's nothing wrong with you. That's well and fine. But for me, I can't, as the old mantra is, can't stop, won't stop. That's how I view it.
What is that?
I have to do it on my own terms. And yeah, I heard, I literally, there are times where I can hardly walk. There are times, once I get up, okay, I got this to do. I have this to do. And thanks for the grace of God that I'm still able to dance. And, but when I get home, I get right into bed. Yeah.
I have known that about you, Kamel, and you move so well and so often when you hear it. I wonder every time I dance with you, what was it like knowing that you had this passion for dancing, but also knowing that your body was not really responding the way it used to? What was that transition like for you, and how has it been over these years?
Well, I remember when I first got diagnosed, which is 1995, and I was out for about 6 months, went in remission. I remember the first time it hit me, I said, this is crazy here. The second time it hit me the following year in 87, whatever, April of 87. And I was out again. That time it hit me so hard, I couldn't even walk. I had to go to therapy to walk. And I remember telling myself, I lived in Hunger Springs, right off of Broad Street in Hunger Springs. And I said to myself, so maybe I just have to get on disability. At that time, I didn't think about dancing as much then. But then I said to myself, you almost have to be destitute to deal with disability. You can't make any income. And I said, what, I'm going to have to do something. So I'll never forget it. I started to work at Steinmont, which is right on Hunger Springs Road, which is a couple blocks from where I lived at. And I said, if I have to walk there, I just need something. I got to do something. I just got to keep moving around. And that's what I did. And it was like, at that time, I never looked back. I was at Steinmont for about a year and a half. And then I was a manager at Dillis when Dillis first came to the area in 1997. I opened up the Virginia Center Commons store at that time.
All right.
And then, of course, I left there. Then I started working for Section Shoes. I was there for almost 20 years, manager there. And, of course, at that time, everyone knew I had him. I never forget him when I walked to Gary Weiner, who still owns the store at that time. I just wanted to let you know I have multiple sclerosis, whatever. I remember when I said his off, he said, oh, okay. And okay.
Get the job.
And
do the job.
that's how our relationship started. And he said, well, if it happens, it happens. Let's go forward. And all those years I was there, I never had any issues. When I had issues or whatever, they were always understanding. And, oh, you all right today? No, I'm good. But for me, I never looked at it as I never wanted to be my crutch.
Mm-hmm.
So although I never hit what I had, but at the same time, I probably exert myself more than most people probably should.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, that was the only way I know to, I guess, contain the disease, because if you let the disease get you, it will. It has enough power as it does, but you can't give it any more power. So my thing is I fight against it at all stops. And then close to the other side of the coin is I have a defibrillator, and that's been in about 8 years. So when folks tell me it's like a double whammy, but it's like, well, whatever. I can't stop now. Mm-hmm. Even my cardiologist said, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, whatever. I never would believe you needed first of all, I never believe you have MS because I see you walking. Yeah. The other side, I can't believe I have to put a defibrillator in your chest at that time. Because he said if you were 30 years old, I probably would give you a heart transplant. I have a 30% heart rate, 30% pump rate, which means I have congestive heart failure. But he's saying you've been so active all your life. It's a genetically bad heart. He said, but you've been active all your life. He said, don't stop what you're doing. It is what it is. I never forget. I had a doctor call me a couple of months ago, and it's a Bluetooth, so I have a monitor at home, but they actually can raise it up or raise it down, And I was there, and they looked at the scan and said, on such day, your heartbeat was 171 beats a minute. I said, okay, yeah. Then it was 170. I said, well, I teach a class on that day. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to have to raise your threshold. Because at 171, the thing, it has gone off one time. It did its job about 2016, I think it was. I was doing a class, and it popped off. So I collapsed in my class. Of course, I happen to have nurses there in the class. Now, again, the defibrillator is what it is. It's a defibrillator. So it stopped my heart and restarted it.
Right.
So technically, you die, then it brings you back because that's what it does. I guess I was out for about 10 seconds. Of course, when I look back, and I said, people say, well, how did it happen? Well, I hadn't took my medicine in about 3 years. I looked at my medicine. I said, damn, I hadn't took my medicine in 3 years. Between the times of 2013 and 2017, I was dealing with my mother, my father, my favorite aunts, all of them sick and passed away in those period of years. So I didn't take my medicine. I was going with them and doing stuff with them, myself and my sister, and just going. And then I never realized that it would have that effect on me, that it would cause that effect. I'll never forget at the time I was still at Saxon's. I was sweating more than usual. And then there was a dance that me and the girl named Katrina, she was one of my line dance students, where we used to do a dance. And for some reason, this dance would just work me extra hard. I couldn't figure it out. Well, that same dance I did at the class, and I never forget, I was going to take a step, and it popped off, and I collapsed. And what was happening was my body was telling me, okay, your heart is overworking itself. It was letting me know. But of course, when it happened, my doctor said, well, you need to take your medicine. So I take my medicine now. Well, I probably still have my lapses, but usually only lasts a day. That I realized, okay, Kamel, you got a lot to do. You got a lot to accomplish. Take your medicine. Because I'm not saying I don't have moments where I don't take it as seriously as I should. I won't lie. But what it is, the medicine helps regulate my heart, so the defibrillator won't go off. So that's what the medicine comes from. So we'll see. I have about another. I think I have another 2 years on the battery life. So we'll see what has to happen if they have to take it out and put another one in. We'll see. Yeah.
Kamel, you're coming up on becoming a man of a certain age. We see that gray in your beard. If the lights are turned here, you see the gray in my hair coming in. I keep the lights low so you can't tell.
60 August 2nd, man.
With
60 years old.
Happy birthday to you. We better celebrate in August.
Hey,
with all that we've just learned about you, Kamel, what goes on in your mind every time you get on the dance floor? You know you're going to be active. You know your body may hurt. Your heart may go too fast. What's the brain thinking?
Well, it's funny. As soon as I hear the music, everything else disappears. I hear the music. And you know, you talk about getting when you look at athletes or whatever. Don't get me wrong, I can dance by myself, and I've done the best. I'll tell people a lot of times when I do this, I can dance by myself. I don't want to. I do thrive off the crowd.
Yeah.
Just the excitement, not necessarily about me, but just watching them enjoy what I do, and they're having fun doing it. Mm-hmm. I really get a high off of that. That adrenaline rush of saying, oh, they're excited, just as excited as I am. Just watching them dance and just seeing the excitement, and maybe seeing a person that maybe couldn't do it maybe at the first couple minutes of the dance, but by the end, almost near the end of the dance, they finally got it. Mm-hmm. And just looking at them, seeing the smile on their face, the elation on their face, I got it. And I'm sitting, that's right, you got it, you got it. Oh, I stand beside them. Sometimes I make them nervous if I stand beside them. I'm trying to, look, I'm not going to bite you. I'm just, okay, let's go to the left, go to the right. So when I hear that music, it's sort of, I guess, I sort of dive into the sounds, the beats, where I don't think about the surroundings, so to speak. For the most part, I can really just get lost in the music. They always say get lost. I can actually get lost in the music. I mean, there are times when I'm just driving out here, my head and I love music, period. And a lot of times most people don't realize I do create. There are a lot of dances that are still exist today that are my dances that I've created. And most of those dances come because I woke up in the middle of the night. I remember I hear a beat in my head. Let me see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a dance to that song. The next thing I know, I made a dance to that song. And usually the most popular dances that I made are ones I made in 10 or 15 minutes. Just based on hearing, so, oh yeah, you know what, I got to go, and I'm done. Because then I don't overthink it. I just go with it. This is what I'm gonna do. Maybe tweak it a little bit. Okay, this is the dance. Instead of just, and then those are most popular dances that I've done that people still do today.
Well, you know, people all over social media, I think TikTok in particular, making up dances every day, getting challenges around the world. We need a Kemel Patton dance challenge.
Every day. Go on. They're every day. And of course, I'm on IG all the time. KP-Line Dance King of RVA. I'm on Instagram. I post every week dances, clips, reels. Of course, I'm on Facebook all the time. And I guess it's a joy to know that at my age that people still relish and want Kamel to dance. I mean, I just booked an event today for Richmond Public Schools. They called me today, and the person I knew. And of course, over the years, I could truly say that what has helped me over the years is that I've created goodwill in the community, that people know who I am. So a lot of times they think about it, they're going to think of me first and foremost. So I've had people that I've known for 20, 30 years. Nana Bailey comes to Richmond Public Schools now. I've known Nana for 30 years. Hey, Kamel, you know, we're doing an event here at the school. We want you to, oh, okay. Angela Knight has her own venue called Venue AK. She called me, just did an event with her on Sunday. She does wedding receptions, all that. So I'm part of her group, her preferred person when she has weddings or events, whatever. Well, I've got a line dancer. I've got a person already on board. So whatever we want. I mean, so those are people that I've known. So I've created goodwill. I've tried to treat all people fairly. I've tried to be nice to people, all people. At the end of the day, yes, I was given the monitor King of Line Dance. I was given that. I didn't create that. I didn't give it to myself. The line dance community gave it to me because they know at the end of the day, they started with me. They came under me. They asked me questions. They started after. I'm the one that gave them the bug for it. So because of that, I'm very humbled with that. But I appreciate that it is a gift of dance, and that if people can get something out of it, and you know, I think the real true testament of what my dancing does is that when people come to me and say, you know what, I have a cousin, an aunt that has MS. Can they call you? They need to know what you do to keep yourself going. Yes, they can call me. Look me up on my page, whatever they need to do. Even at the event I did Sunday for Angela Knight at Venue AK, there was a gentleman there, and she told me, so you know what, you helped me just by dancing with you. You gave me hope.
Yeah. Because
she had an addiction. And she was, I think, 60 days clean, but dancing was sort of her outlet. That helped her. So you helped me today. That gave me some hope that I didn't think about the drugs today. So so those kind of things are great benefits that it does is that it has benefit. Yes, it's for fun and yes, do I get enumerated for it. There are times when I do, and I do charity too. But do I get paid for it? Yes, I do. But I'll be honest with you, but the greatest payment is that people get something out of it that they can take away from it. That they can say, you know what, I learned to dance today. You know, when you were at my family reunion 15 years ago, that people still remember who I am. And so that's that same guy. I saw him on TV. I heard him on radio. That's Kamel. And there are times when a couple of people came to me. It was just the other day, say, you know, you're sort of a celebrity. I said, I don't think about it from that standpoint. But because I did create this genre, there is sort of a celebrity status, sort of, kind of. But I try not to think about it from that standpoint. You know, for me, I'm just Kamel. And I tell folks, I'm just Kamel. I'm just Kamel. I appreciate all the plaudits, all the applause and all that. But at the end of the day, you know, if I could, I would do it for free, because I danced for free for years. Never thought about that I could make it an outcome, you know, that I would get paid to do it. Because for me, my payment was the enjoyment that I got, the sweat that I laid on the ground. Because when I'm dancing, I leave it all on the floor. I don't leave anything behind.
You have earned your accolade, and whatever paycheck people give to you, you've earned it. You are well loved, well remembered, and well respected, and it's well deserved. I'll tell you, I was talking to somebody around here about the return of dance in person to the museum. Kid you not, first thing they said, well, when's Kamel coming back? And I said, funny you should mention Kemel Patton dancing all over the place.
There are a lot of the members that have come to, and one thing I can truthfully say about what line dancing has done, it has been a bridge of the races. It's a bridge because a lot of the older members have come to me and said, man, I can't, you know, I'm gonna be there when you do it. As a couple of older white ladies, I can't think of their names. I've known them for the last 4 or 5 years, and they're there every time when I'm there. And they're out there dancing, having a good time. We just want to dance with you. Like, yes. I mean, that's a great joy. And again, I relish the opportunity that the museum has given me, because when you think about the history of the museum, and most things here in Richmond was sort of isolated over the years, right? You know, so it has opened up the whole city for diversity, and I'm glad that dance is there to be a bridge or a gap, you know, to bridge the gap within that too.
Art in general, and it's been a big push here at VMFA to work in those direction, or a strategic plan. Yes. I think it's posted on the website. You can read all about it. I don't need to bore anybody with it, but we've been on that mission on our own and with partners in the community like yourself to help bridge those gaps. And with that in mind, what are we doing here next month?
We're going to be August the 20th, 6 to 8. KP is back. KP is back. Dancing Up a Storm in the Sculpture Garden. KP is back. A lot of folks have asked about it over the years. Said, Kamel, when you coming back to the museum? When you come? I said, look, I waited on the museum. I'm here. And when I called you that day, and you said, Kamel, what are you doing? What day? What's the time?
Yes.
And because I just enjoy it so much. And you know, it's funny. I have friends. Michael Harvey is a good friend of mine. I know he does a lot of volunteer stuff there. Michael Harvey is probably one of my greatest friends. I need to call him too. He's a great friend of mine. Monroe Harris. I've known Monroe Harris, who's the director of the Board of Trustees. I mean, I've known him, and Jill Busey used to be my dentist. That's his wife. So we're talking about going back in the 80s. I've known them. That's how long I've known them. Who would have thought that he'd be where he is today?
Cornerstone of this place.
And what they have done for the museum. I mean, of course, they have a wing now and all that. I mean, I've known them. They were friends of mine for years. Jill Busey was my personal dentist in the 80s. So that's how long I've known them. And of course, Paula. Yes. Paula was a customer of mine when I was at Saxon Shoes. I never forget it. She didn't realize that. Oh, you come out here. And when I first got there, I never forget when the first opportunity she gave me was on a Sunday. I said, well, I got a Sunday, and that's how I got started. 6-7 years ago on a Sunday. We'll give you a date on the Sunday, and just think of how it has blossomed from there to where we are today. And that's such a joy and a treat. And at the end of the day, it's something good for the city. To bring the city together as a whole, and I really do take joy in that it brings the community, and that folks look forward to the event, and that they know that when they come there, they can leave there, have had a little fun, have a little sweat, maybe meet some new friends, and have a good time. you know.
This will be the first, not the first time we've done an event in the garden or even had a big party in the garden, but it is the first time we've had a dance event in the sculpture garden. Over the past while, we haven't done really much of anything, and we're just getting back to the garden in August. So you're helping us get that started.
No, because I think the last event you did, I know Lonnie did something out there in the garden. That was when I was on the inside and he was on the outside. And that was, but I guess that was 2 years ago, probably, when Lonnie was out there. But
that was a Summer Breeze collab with
the Summer Breeze. Yes, the Summer Breeze. But to come out there and enjoy just the ambiance, the beautiful, lush gardens out there. I mean, just to be amongst that, and then add dancing that as part of the art, because dancing is an art too. Dancing is an art too. So that to have all the, hey dog, I'm good dog, I'm good.
It's seeing people you know right there.
Yeah, you know, no matter where I go, like, okay.
That's celebrity all the way.
That's when I try to be, you know, have some anonymity. It doesn't really work. Because sometimes you try, okay, do I go here? I have friends of mine that say, Kamel, I don't need to be around you, because everywhere we go, there's always somebody stop you, whatever. I can't help that, you know.
Can't help
it is what it is. And, but again, it is a testament that I've treated people right over the years. That they appreciate what I do, but also appreciate who I am. And yeah, there's some, they do look up to me, whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm just Kamel, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to really, I guess, when I took a picture of, a friend of mine asked me, you know, took a picture. I went down to Bill Bojangles' statue and took a picture. It's been a while, probably 2 years ago. And I looked back at the history that he made as a dancer, but he also did goodwill for the city. Most people don't realize that then back in the 30s, he bought that traffic light right there. Because kids couldn't cross right there where the statue is. Kids could not cross right there. So he bought a traffic light there, I guess in the 40s or 50s right there. I have to get the exact date. He bought $1,400, I think he paid for a traffic light so kids could cross that street.
I did not know that story.
Yes. Bill's Bojangles, look at it. Bill's Bojangles, he bought that traffic light right there. That's why his statue is right there. Yep.
Well, Kamel, I have enjoyed this time with you. At some point, I've got to let you go, but I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. As we were talking about coming together to dance in August, and y'all better come out. And I'll be in the crowd too. I'll be the one who doesn't know what I'm doing, but by the end, I've got the move. I'll be the one. It dawned on me that this is the last one of these that I will be doing at least regularly in a while. You were the last episode to bring people back to the garden. So thank you for appearing and helping me tie a bow around this journey we've been.
Right. Where are you going?
I'm not going anywhere. We're just not going to be doing interviews like this every month like I have been. We'll be in person dancing together.
I know.
We'll still get to chat, but I'll be around. Can't get rid of me around here.
I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. Because I'll never forget, I was one of the first events they did when you first started your position. It's like, okay. And
I remember. And I'll tell you that, you know, it was because I had just started here and I had nothing. I didn't know what I was going to do. And Paula said, you know what, Kamel might do it. I called you up, and every time I've called you since, including that first time, you've been so gracious.
Yeah.
You know, thank you for that. All right, those of you at home, it's getting busy over there at the Starbucks with Kamel. We got to let him go. Fridays after 5 presented by Chase.
I can talk as long as you want, man. I'm not having that to do. I'm drinking my little cafe mocha, and we're good.
Mocha. I used to work at Starbucks. I managed. I can make a mocha. But August 20, y'all at home, come to the VMFA. Be here in person. Bring your dancing shoes, a blanket to sit on if you need to. August 20, we'll be outside in the garden unless it rains, and then we're back in
Right there in the garden. Yes, we're out there in the garden, 6 to 8. August 20th. Half-price
beer and wine happy hour is back as well. Come and get you a sip and get your body.
Good happy hour. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be back and returning out there. Bars out there ready for us all. Come on, party Richmond, and come on, party Kamel. And this won't be the last time this year we have you. Thank you, sir. I can't wait to see you in about a month from now. Those of you at home, thank you for loving with us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for learning from us. I always got to say it, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Yes. Until we see you again, this has been our Fridays After 5 presented by Chase. The series. We'll be dancing together in a week. Kamel, good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Robert.
Yes, sir.